The Abyss Stares Back by ScoobiSnacc. Chagral paced impatiently by the dropship door. He was eager to assess the humans' situation on Eva, especially since the humans, of all races, had asked the Graal for assistance. The Graal had long been known as the indisputable Lords of War in the galactic community. Their culture thrived on conflict, for only through conflict could one's true merit be revealed. The name Graal was not only the name of their species, but also a universal last name for all worthy Graal, earned through combat. Only those who had proven themselves in battle could claim the title. Since the humans had entered the galactic stage, however, their affinity for war had begun to rival even that of the Graal. It was certainly a surprise when the human ambassador requested Graal assistance on Eva, an uninhabited planet where humans were at war with a previously unknown and highly territorial alien empire. Among the Graal, honor was the pinnacle of virtues. It was this very virtue that prevented them from conquering the galaxy, for what honor could be gained from conquering weaker races? Officially, Chagral's mission was to evaluate the humans' enemy and determine if the conflict was worthy of Graal intervention. Unofficially, the Emperor's liaison had secretly given him a secondary objective, to assess the humans themselves and decide if their prowess in warfare posed a threat. Only one race could claim the title of Lords of War, and the Graal might need to remind the galaxy to whom that title truly belonged. Chagral felt the dropship touch down. "Finally," he whispered. The door slid open to reveal a battered and heavily damaged base. According to his briefing, this base had been besieged for over a year by the humans' foe. Reinforcements and supplies had seldom made it through due to the enemy's blockade. Chagral's dropship had only deployed from a stealth frigate, moving slowly to avoid detection. Stepping off the ship, Chagral made his way toward the base, where a lone human officer awaited him. The officer approached. "Mr. Chagral?" Chagral tilted his head slightly and walked past him. "General Chagral, human. I am no politician. Now let us skip the pleasantries, so I may assess the situation. Take me to the front line." The human hurried ahead to guide him. As they walked through the base, Chagral took note of the weapons and supplies. Energy weapons, ballistic weapons, explosives, armored vehicles, aerial vehicles, standard equipment as expected. What struck Chagral was the quiet. The humans were communicating, but their voices were off. In his experience, humans spoke with emotion and inflection, yet here their voices were flat, almost mechanical. When they reached the edge of the base, where several soldiers stood on guard, Chagral saw something that unsettled him. He had looked into many humans' eyes before. Some had averted their gaze in fear, while others had met his with courage. But these soldiers were different. When Chagral looked into their eyes, he saw nothing. No fear, no pride, no resolve. It was as if they were empty. Chagral had only felt this once before, when he stood at the edge of a black hole and gazed into the abyss. Now, staring into these humans' eyes, it was as though the abyss stared back. The soldiers saluted and returned to their posts. Chagral turned to the officer. "What is wrong with them? I commend their lack of fear, but I have never seen such a look before." The officer, with the same soulless gaze, replied, "We call it the 1,000-yard stare. It's what happens when we've been under stress for too long. We check out. It's like a ship on autopilot. The systems are functioning, but no one is aboard." Disciplined as he was, Chagral could not help but laugh. This is the species that threatens the Graal's title? The officer silently stared back at him. "Apologies, human. I was informed that humans reveled in conflict as we did." The officer motioned toward the battlements, guiding Chagral further. "We don't enjoy war. We do it because we have to, for one reason or another, but it still takes a toll on us." Chagral observed more soldiers, all displaying the same 1,000-yard stare. "My boys have been here too long, every day without rest. We've lost hundreds." Suddenly, a soldier called out, "Captive!" The officer seized a viewscope and handed it to Chagral, pointing toward the horizon. Chagral observed a human soldier being dragged by 5 armored alien soldiers. Before he could speak, the officer shouted, "Snipers!" Chagral expected the snipers to eliminate the captors and retrieve their comrade for punishment. Instead, a single shot rang out, and it was the captive human who fell. Chagral lowered the viewscope and turned to the officer, who gazed into the distance. It's better than what they would have done to him. Chagral could see the logic. A Graal would have been punished with death for being captured. Perhaps the humans simply acted more swiftly. He approached the sniper. "Excellent shot. Your skill is honorable." The sniper nodded, a single tear falling from his otherwise emotionless face. The tear didn't match the blank expression. It was a silent, isolated sign of sadness. "Contact! 3 o'clock!" a human yelled. Alien soldiers were climbing the walls in a sneak attack. Chagral drew his sidearm, eager to display his prowess. 3 shots, 3 kills. The humans also fired at the enemy, their accuracy commendable. As Chagral turned to his next target, he noticed one human continuing to shoot a dead enemy, his face contorted in a snarl of rage. Chagral saw another human engaged in close combat, efficiently dispatching his foe with brutal force. Yet, even after the alien was dead, the soldier continued to strike, lost in a violent frenzy. When the last enemy had fallen, one alien surrendered, kneeling in supplication. Chagral expected the humans to grant it an honorable death. Instead, they opened fire, killing the alien in a hail of bullets. "Clear," a human called. The officer approached, blood splattered on his chest. "Report." "Riggs and Keating are KIA, sir." The officer kicked a dead alien in frustration. "God damn it! This is the bullshit we've been dealing with all year. They never attack in force, just these bitch-ass sneak attacks. Every day we wait, knowing they're coming, but not knowing when or where." He kicked the body again and turned to Chagral. "I'm sick of burying men I promised to get home. So tell me, General, are you going to help us or not?" Chagral paused, then said, "Yes, you will have our support." The humans had demonstrated their skill, and the enemy was formidable enough to warrant Graal intervention. His primary mission was complete, but his secondary mission was more troubling. Chagral holstered his sidearm. "Tell me, human, why does your species engage in war if this savagery is what it reduces you to?" The officer's eyes were filled with wariness and pain as he answered. "Because we fight for what's behind us, not what's in front of us. And we'll go through hell if it means no one else has to." As Chagral departed, he considered his report to the Emperor. Humans did not fight for honor. They fought out of necessity. They had no qualms about fighting without honor, doing whatever it took to survive. They would kill their own if it meant sparing them from a worse fate. They would execute a helpless captive to eliminate a threat. They would push themselves far beyond their limits for the sake of their civilization. For the first time in his life, Chagral felt a twinge of nervousness about war. Perhaps humans did indeed deserve the title of Lords of War, for they would pay any price for victory. There was no honor in fighting them, only death. The end. Like and subscribe for more content.